If it's anything I could do, help, I'm here. The part that really messed with me is that Blueface doesn't seem active in the child's life because of his disability. Hold on. I feel like that's what triggered me, and my anger overpowered my message. I didn't get to deliver any way, shape, or right, and I apologize to you. It didn't deserve my words, and the grace you showed me spoke volumes to the season of your life you're in the right now, and I'm here to support and congratulate you overly. So I said my son does not have a disability. He is developing at his own pace and hitting his milestones in his own timing. Every child is different, and I'm confident in his growth. If I said it, he had a disability, then but it's like,
don't tell me.
I ain't say none of that. I ain't say none of that. Watch your mouth. Like, say if something.
Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. So we're going to talk about Chrisean Rock today, but before we do that, please hit that like button, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Okay, let's go. So I don't talk about Chrisean Rock like I used to, but I just saw the video she did recently, and I find it disturbing. Because Chrisean Rock is basically denying that Chrisean Jr. has any disabilities. As a parent, that's her right to do so. But she's standing on the word of the Lord. She's talking about if, he's going to develop in his own time and all of these things. And she's basically saying, because the word of the Lord said this and the word of the Lord said that. And the problem that I have with this is people stand on the word of the Lord when it's convenient. You weren't standing on the word of the Lord when you was out there acting a fool, drinking, fornicating, all these other things. The Lord gives us common sense. And so it's just crazy to me that when we're talking about the health, the well-being of your child, which again, you don't have to talk about it publicly, but you talking about it, so we gonna talk about it. You say it's in God's hands. I'm standing on the word of the Lord. Well, what about some of the other things that you've been doing? When you out there with these different men and you're not with your child, there's so many things that the Bible, if we're living under the biblical terms, you doing a whole lot of that God don't condone. So let's not act like we so holier than thou when it comes to the baby, because you should be living your whole life that way. But anyway, Karlissa responded to that, and let's get into what Karlissa said, you guys, because I'm just confused at this point. Because remember, Blueface came out and said that Junior didn't have any disabilities, but now Karlissa is saying, in response to Chrisean's video yesterday, she said John didn't even know she was keeping her baby all the way to the 5th month. She said she was unaliving. Please stop acting dumb. When them doctors told her about them disabilities. So this is the part that I'm confused about. So she's saying when the doctors told her about the disabilities, as if it's a fact, she was 5 months. When they give you an amniocentesis during your pregnancy that late, they definitely fill you in with any disabilities or details. No one is to blame but the mother who chose to ignore me during that pregnancy and her slow ass fans who convinced her I was hating. All that can be done is the best for him, and that's what y'all should be promoting. And I agree with her. At this point, there's no need to point fingers. But again, this whole thing about I'm standing on the word of God, girl, if you standing on the word of God, you wouldn't be doing half the stuff that you do, okay? So let's focus on the health of our kid. God gave us doctors and medical engineering so that we can do the right things for our children. She also says there's nothing wrong with the disability. Your love for him should overshadow the title, and the efforts of faith should be evident to help another mother accept the process of faith. Stop listening to these crazy ass people. When Jonathan was told he could play sports, he was told he could play sports no more because of an injury. We continued to play in faith, but we didn't miss one appointment of physical therapy 3 times a week. Faith without works is dead. I totally agree with her. Believing in the Lord, like if a person has cancer, we ask for a miracle. We ask for, God to cure it, but we also go to the doctor in prayer. So just acknowledging that maybe your child has some developmental delays doesn't mean God isn't instilling the works. There's still a miracle that can be done. But if you aren't even taking the action or being proactive to use modern medicine, then I think you're crazy. That's just how I feel about it.